Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to The Big Sweep. Today, we're diving into a topic that's sure to get you thinking about your cleaning routine. We're talking about mops, those supposed cleaning heroes that leave our floors sparkling clean. Or do they? Let's be real, some mops are the worst. They're like that friend who says they'll help you move, but then just ends up eating all your pizza. They promise a sparkling clean floor, but leave you with a streaky, soggy mess. So, if you're tired of mops that suck, you've come to the right place. But before we start, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to The Big Sweep, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any episodes. Roughly 90% of you watching are not subscribed. So what are you waiting for? It's free! Get ready to laugh and maybe cry a little as we expose the top 10 reasons why your mop might actually be your worst enemy. First up, let's talk about the number one reason your mop might suck. It just doesn't clean. You might think you're doing a great job, but in reality, you're just moving the dirt around. You know what I'm talking about. That feeling of frustration when you see the same dirt spot after you've mopped over it multiple times. You spend precious minutes of your life scrubbing the floor, only to realize you're just pushing dirt around like a bulldozer in a sandbox. It's almost as if the mop is mocking you, saying, "Nice try, but not today." It's like trying to sweep with a feather duster, utterly pointless. Feather dusters just spread the dust around, and similarly, a bad mop just spreads the dirt. You end up with this weird, watery dirt cloud that just resettles on the floor the second it dries. It's like a never-ending cycle of dirt and frustration. And don't even get me started on those cheap sponge mops. They might look like they're doing the job, but in reality, they're just making things worse. They're like magnets for hair and grime. But instead of actually picking it up, they just smear it around, creating a sticky, disgusting mess. It's like trying to clean with a dirty rag. It just doesn't work. Seriously, it's enough to make you want to just burn your house down and start over. Just kidding. Kind of. But the frustration is real, and it can make you feel like you're fighting a losing battle. But seriously, a mop that doesn't clean is about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. It's time to ditch that ineffective mop and find a solution that actually works. Your floors deserve better, and so do you. Imagine a mop that actually picks up the dirt, leaving your floors spotless and shiny. No more frustration, no more wasted time. Just clean, beautiful floors that you can be proud of. With the right mop, cleaning can be a breeze. You'll wonder how you ever managed with that old, ineffective mop. So, say goodbye to the dirt and grime, and hello to a cleaner, happier home. It's time to take control of your cleaning routine and make it work for you. With the right tools, you can achieve the clean home you've always wanted. So what are you waiting for? Get out there and find the perfect mop for your needs. Your floors will thank you. Okay, let's talk about wringing out a mop. It's one of those household chores that seems straightforward but can quickly become a Herculean task. This seemingly simple task can quickly turn into an epic battle of wills, pitting you against an inanimate object that seems to have a mind of its own, leaving you soaked, frustrated, and questioning your life choices. You start to wonder if there's a secret technique that everyone else knows, but you somehow missed. You know that feeling, right? The one where you think, there has to be a better way to do this. You crank and crank that wringer, but the mop head just sits there, stubbornly clinging to every last drop of water like it's clinging to life itself. It's as if the mop is mocking you, daring you to try harder. And then, just when you think your arms are about to fall off, the mop decides to release its watery grip, sending a tidal wave of dirty water splashing all over your freshly cleaned floor, and probably your pants too. It's like a scene from a slapstick comedy, but it's your life. It's like the mop is playing a cruel joke on you, laughing at your feeble attempts to wring it out. You can't help but feel a bit defeated, as if the mop has won this round. Seriously, who designed these things? It's almost as if they wanted to make our lives more difficult. You start to think about all the advancements in technology and wonder why no one has come up with a better mop wringer. Maybe it's time to invest in one of those fancy self-wringing mops. Or perhaps it's time to delegate this task to someone else. Either way, wringing out a mop shouldn't require the strength of Hercules. But until then, we soldier on, battling our mops and hoping for a better, drier future. You know what's worse than a dirty floor? A floor that's covered in streaks. It's like a cruel joke, right? You finally convinced yourself to tackle the daunting task of mopping, gathering all your supplies, and mentally preparing for the chore ahead. You've wrung out your mop within an inch of its life, making sure it's just damp enough to clean, but not too wet to leave puddles. And you're feeling pretty good about yourself, thinking you've done a thorough job. But then, as the floor starts to dry, you begin to notice something unsettling. You notice them, those dreaded streaks mocking your every effort. They seem to appear out of nowhere like ghosts of dirt past. It's like your mop decided to channel its inner abstract artist and create a masterpiece of dirt and grime on your once clean floor. And the worst part? Those streaks are like permanent markers, stubbornly clinging to the surface. No matter how hard you try, they just won't go away. You try to go back and fix them, but it's no use. You go over the same spots again and again, hoping for a miracle. But the streaks remain, taunting you. You're just left with a streaky mess that's even more obvious than the dirt you were trying to clean in the first place. It's frustrating, isn't it? You put in all that effort, only to end up with a floor that looks worse than before. But don't worry, you're not alone. Many people face this same issue, and there are solutions out there. Maybe it's time to rethink your mopping technique or try a different cleaning product. Whatever the case, don't give up. Your streak-free floor is just a few adjustments away. Let's be real, some mops are heavy, like really heavy. It's like trying to maneuver a small child around your kitchen floor, except the child is soaking wet and covered in dirt. After a while, your arms start to burn, your back aches, and you start to question if a sparkling clean floor is even worth this much physical exertion. And don't even get me started on trying to carry a bucket full of water while wielding this heavy mop. It's like a recipe for disaster, just waiting for you to slip, fall, and end up in the emergency room with a sprained ankle and a bruised ego. Let's talk about the hidden cost of mopping those pesky refills. You think you're getting a good deal on a cheap mop, but then you realize you're trapped in an endless cycle of buying expensive refills. It's like the mop companies are running a subscription service, and you're the sucker who keeps paying the monthly fee. Those disposable mop heads might seem convenient at first, but they add up fast. And don't even get me started on the specialized cleaning solutions some mops require. It's like they're trying to bankrupt you, one squirt of overpriced cleaning fluid at a time. Okay, let's be real. Some mops are just plain awkward to store. They're bulky, they're unwieldy, and they seem to take up way more space than they deserve. You try to find a place for them in your cleaning closet, but it's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. And don't even get me started on those mops with the detachable heads. You know you're supposed to take them off and let them dry separately, but let's be honest, who actually does that? So you end up with this dripping mop head precariously balanced on the edge of your bathtub, just waiting to fall off and create a puddle of dirty water. Let's talk about the lifespan of a mop. Some mops are like those cheap toys you win at a carnival. They fall apart after just a few uses. You're happily mopping along thinking you're doing a great job, when suddenly the mop head decides to detach itself from the handle and go for a swim in your bucket of dirty water. Or maybe the handle snaps in half, leaving you holding onto a useless stick and a pile of wet, dirty mop strings. It's like the mop knows you just bought it and decides to stage a dramatic death scene just to spite you. Some mops are like that one friend who's only good for one thing. They're great at cleaning one specific type of floor, but try to use them on anything else, and it's a disaster waiting to happen. You try to use your trusty hardwood floor mop on your tile floor, and it's like trying to ice skate uphill. The mop just skips and slides around, leaving your floor covered in streaks and mist spots. Or maybe you try to use your delicate microfiber mop on your rough concrete basement floor, and it's like watching a feather duster try to tackle a mountain of dust bunnies. Let's be real. Mopping is not exactly the most exciting way to spend your time, but some mops seem determined to make the experience even more painful by taking forever and a day to actually clean your floors. You're stuck there, pushing that mop back and forth like you're stuck in some kind of cleaning purgatory. And just when you think you're finally finished, you realize you missed a spot. So you have to go back and remop the entire area, adding even more precious minutes or hours to your already tedious cleaning routine. Finally, let's talk about the environmental impact of mops. Those disposable mop heads might seem convenient, but they're terrible for the environment. They end up in landfills where they take hundreds of years to decompose. And those harsh cleaning solutions? They often contain chemicals that can pollute our waterways and harm wildlife. It's enough to make you want to ditch the mop altogether and just embrace the dirt. But don't worry, there are eco-friendly mopping options out there. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more awesome content. And let us know in the comments if you have any other reasons why your mop sucks. We've all been there, battling with a mop that seems determined to make our lives miserable. But don't worry, there is hope. There are plenty of great mops out there that will actually clean your floors without all the hassle. So, don't give up on mopping just yet. Do your research, find a mop that works for you, and get ready to enjoy sparkling clean floors without the stress.